In the last video, I spoke about the challenges to get people to sign up for your online course. Retaining your learners is another big challenge. Figures for MOOC completion are notoriously low. Some sources put them as low as 5% of total sign-ups. It's a bit daunting. If 100 people sign up for your course, chances are only 5 will actually get to the end. This may be worst case scenario, so in this video I'm going to talk a little about some things that you can do to beat these odds of losing most of your learners on your own online course. The first thing to consider is something I touched on in the last video, related to meaningful targeting of learners. And I think it's worth saying again, if you do your promotion strategically, you should have quite a few people who sign up to your course because they have a genuine interest in your topic and believe your course will contribute to their personal or professional goals, and in this case, you could realistically expect to retain many of them. You could describe these learners as being intrinsically motivated. Basically, as long as your course is reasonably good, chances are they will stick with it because they're interested and they want to do it. But the reality is that you will have many learners who sign up to your course who aren't as committed, and maybe they drop out along the way, not necessarily because your course is bad, but because it is lower priority than many competing demands on their time and attention. So beyond recruiting the right profile of learner, what can you do to bump up your course to high priority status for this sometimes very sizable group and keep them engaged once they have enrolled? I would like to talk a little bit about motivation, exploring a number of ways you might consider to incentivize your learners to stay with you, and then I'll go on to talk a little about some features you might incorporate to your course design aimed at keeping your learners interested. I'm sure you're aware that many organisations link staff training to rewards, increased salary and other perks. These are what could be called extrinsic incentives. So it's a system of giving people rewards in exchange for doing something. It's unlikely you are going to pay people for actually doing your course, but is there any incentive you could offer your learners for completing it? If you're in an education setting with a closed group of students, could you offer bonus points that are added to their end-of-year grade, a certificate of completion, a digital badge of completion that they can share on their social media accounts, or anything else? Do you have the possibility to make your course mandatory in order to access something else? If you are charging for certification of your course, as some platforms do, could you offer free certification for the second or third course for everyone who completes the first? And by that stage, you might expect them to be confident and resilient digital learners who will continue to learn through this medium. Extrinsic incentives such as these have had considerable success in many settings, though lots of people claim that their impact doesn't last and is generally followed by a drop in motivation once the reward has been given. This might not matter to you if you're running a single course, but you might want to think about other approaches if your aim is to establish a more sustainable learner group, or if you just want to make your courses more engaging and enjoyable. A lot of research has been done on this, and if you're interested in getting deeper into this area, you might be interested in doing a Google search for self-determination theory, community of practice, or community of inquiry frameworks, or connectivism theory. But as this is not a full course on motivational theories, but just a discussion starter on how you will retain learners on your course, just to say that most researchers in this area agree that online learners today want the flexibility and convenience offered by online courses, but they also want authentic courses which give them a voice to share their experiences and learn from their co-learners. They want to feel part of a group that shares their interest, and if this is missing, they get bored. So elements you might consider to incorporate to the design of your course to increase this social element might be lightly moderated discussion forums which allow learners to connect with each other, to ask questions and share experiences, newsletters or update bulletins which tell the story of what's happening in your MOOC, maybe even featuring a selection of learners so that your learners get a greater sense that they're part of a group, not just consuming information from their computer screen. Setting up course groups on Facebook, LinkedIn or elsewhere so that your learners feel they have more choices to connect with and get to know co-learners on platforms of their choosing. I'm hoping that you have more ideas on this, and I would really encourage you to share them so that we can all learn. The issue of online learner retention is one which the biggest brains in the world are still struggling with, so all of your ideas and suggestions are valid. So please click on the post new message button, take a look at what other people are saying, and add your voice.